Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome back to Grand Prix World for round 1 and 2 of the 2003 season and the Arrows title defense. Now, I sound wrong again, I know. The more observant among you who follow me on social media may have noticed there were some shenanigans last night. However, I live to fight another day, and so does the team, so let's get down to business. Now, we have some pretty big contracts to negotiate this year, and we agreed to try and see if we couldn't swipe ourselves an arrangement with Playlife. So I'm going to shove, let's say, 30% of our guys into that. Then we are going to do what we did last time, which is to evaluate the deals that are available to us. So we're going to open negotiations with 4 engine suppliers and see what's what. The lucky winners of our attention are Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, Peugeot, and Ford. We did have some success with Peugeot in the past, and they were a good partner for us. We dropped them this year simply because we wanted to have less development work to do. But their engine is looking pretty good at the moment, actually. So it might not have been as clear cut as we thought it was going to be. I think really we'd be looking at about a similar amount of work to get these engines into the condition that we want them. Ford are no longer the powerhouse supplier that they once were. They were, if you recall, the dominant and most successful engine supplier in our Formula 1 world for seasons 2 and 3. In season 4, things kind of evened off for them a little bit, and this year their engine is still a strong contender, but it's certainly not as clearly dominant as it used to be. But we're still open to working with them. You know, we're open people here. We're all bros. Fuel, we've already got a deal in place, a deal that I'm very, very happy with. But tyres are important, and no, Michelin still haven't entered, so we will be talking again to Goodyear. And we will put 25% of our people on that gig. Now, let's see if with our fancy new staff we can't boost the level of hospitality we offer. Yes, we can. So basically that means our effectiveness for let me start that sentence again, it's the hangover talking. That means the effectiveness of our schmoozing campaign when we bring people along to F1 is 3 times more effective than it was initially. It's also more expensive, but you've got to speculate to accumulate, as someone probably said once. I have 2% of my staff left. What I'm going to do is have that 2% squirreling away on a fan club deal. They probably won't get very far. 2% of the staff, that's... I mean, how many people have we got? I think 1% of our staff is half a person, so we have a single person working on this deal, so it's probably not going to get off the ground, but it's not really going to make a difference anywhere else either. Right. So, who's coming to the party? Playlife, obviously. We will bring Goodyear. And we will begin sucking up to one of the engine suppliers, let's say Mercedes-Benz. Since they're already a supplier, so it wouldn't hurt to bring an existing partner along. Our budget for next year is 5.4 million, which is a drop of a lot. I can't brain this morning, but a lot, about 40 something million. But only 15% of the car is covered, and this is what I was alluding to in the videos at the end of last season, that we really need to get multi-year deals to avoid this happening, because now we've got a big hill to climb and I do mean a lot of deals to secure in order to keep the team on the footing that we've become accustomed to. Ideally, we want to grow the budget, and having to negotiate almost every contract again prevents us doing that, usually. Particularly the team sponsor deals and the engine deals are slow burners in most cases. We got very, very lucky that Red Bull just fucking loved us straight away. But normally that doesn't happen, and the deal with Playlife, it could be half a season before we get a deal if we're unlucky. I'm hoping that the more effective PR work, IR I suppose, investor relations, I'm hoping that sort of triple multiplier effect smooths things out for us and we start picking up deals much quicker. As we talked about at the start of this series, there are several ways of playing this game in almost every regard, and one of them is you can choose to not do hospitality at all. I've always used it, but with minimum staffing. This is the first time, I think, that I've been brave enough to say I'm going to put 20% of my staff on boosting the quality of hospitality. In a normal scenario, there'd be 2% here for me, and that remaining 18% will be talking to someone trying to get them to give us money. That's no longer the case, because I think we will benefit more from picking up these 3 deals as quickly as possible, and then we can always take people off the hospitality and redirect them to bringing the cash dollar monies. Okay, how's the car looking? Our technology has carried over quite nicely. We are lacking in some places, particularly the electronic systems are average in every sense. But general reliability is fairly strong. General performance is quite strong. Just got a bit of work to do. I'm going to start again on... I need to take people off the traction control system. I'm going to take everybody off the traction control system initially. Let's put 40%, no 50% I think, designing next year's car. And let's hope that the car complies with the rules, unlike last year. I'm going to immediately address the elephant in the room. Hello, elephant. And that 30% can go on the traction control system unless we discover a shortcoming in our car in testing, in which case we will address that. Our test program this year is going to be expensive, and we have to, as the season progresses, make the decisions that we've made in the past when we were less successful. And that is, are we going to throw a lot of money now into developing, and hoping that that carries through when we cease the program towards the mid to late season? Is our budget for next year going to be sufficient that what we spend now is not going to bite us in the backside later? Exactly the same as the Jordan problem that we've seen. Jordan dumped a lot of money and manpower for the 2001 season right up to the end of the season, and then 2002 they sunk like a brick because they didn't have the budget to do what they needed to do, and they hadn't focused their efforts on moulding the team for a successful second campaign. What I presume, and of course we have no way of knowing this, but what I presume is that they rushed through the design of the 2002 car very late in the season and directed most of their staff to developing driver aid systems, to improving their car technology, and to improving their chassis overall. And it worked. They had a very, very successful 2001 campaign, but 2002 was a bit of a killer for them, and we don't want to fall into that same trap. So right now I'm going to throw a whole bunch of money into testing because we've got a lot of things to solve. We are now solely responsible for development of our engine, tyres and fuels, and that means we have to test in all 3 of these categories, which means that's engineers first of all that we have to assign, that's driver, let's call it driver retention, that we have to assign, and when we're doing that, as always, opportunity cost. If we've got 5% of our engineers on all 3 of these, plus on setup testing, plus on development testing, plus on research testing, that is 30% of our engineers immediately tied up. It also means that each one of those individual areas of development is receiving much more divided attention. So that means many more laps, which means much more expense. It could be that if our contract negotiations for next year do not go well, that we have to begin stockpiling money. And really, I think I was worried last year that this year would be a difficult season for us and that our title defense might not go particularly smoothly. I'd like to revise that a little bit. I actually think at the moment it looks as though next year will actually be a more difficult year for us. I don't think we're going to come out of the gate in Australia as the team at the front. I say that because of this. We don't have the best designer out there. He's not necessarily well synergized with the team. Although morale is good, his department could be bigger. And this is the first car he's designed for us. I'm fairly sure that Rory Byrne will have built a better chassis wherever he's ended up. And we know that we have some, let's say well-constructed opponents to deal with this season. We know, for example, Jordan have works deals across the board and receive a big influx in their budget by signing one of the best team sponsors out there. We know McLaren have a revised and much stronger driver lineup, although they are running partner power, and we know that Benetton are, as ever, going to be around the top. Williams are also on the comeback trail. They had a pretty decent season last year compared to the one before. I'd expect them to take some kind of step forward again, and for once I'm never sure, but I'm genuinely not sure this time where we're going to fit into the mix. Now, let's get back to the technical side, and then we'll take a look at contracts and start throwing offers out to people. We've got some spare parts in the bank. That is helpful. That is helpful to the general endeavour. Right, we're going to do the most testing possible. That's 350 miles. That's $500,000, or just over, that we are now throwing into our development program, and that means we have to get the most out of it. We are testing in every single area. And again, as I'm saying, that means we're not running a focused testing program where we're not targeting specific areas for development. We're just having a general effort to bring everything forward. I wouldn't normally do this, but I'd like to sort of use this first test to even out some bumps in the specification of stuff we've received, and then in future testing sessions we might try and specialize a little bit more so that we're not tying up 30% of our engineers and we are not tying up $500,000 each round. Well, of course that cost is variable, but still. It also means that in terms of setup testing, these drivers now are basically distracted from their own race preparation efforts by having to divert their energies into testing fuels, which, I don't think any race driver wants to be testing fuel. But there we go. I think that's pretty good for him. Actually, our spread din is a bit thinner on the ground, with a bit more focus on tyres and fuel. This guy, I will have 30% engine, 30% tyres, 10% race fuel. Okay, I have no idea what we're going to get out of this. I don't know, because we haven't looked at the contracts yet, how well staffed we are with mechanics at the moment, but hopefully the engineering department is strong enough to maximise every mile here. Let's run it. Okay. Not too disappointing, but not as good as I would have hoped. Let's see if we can have an early head start. No. But we have discovered a problem. What is that problem? Oh, it's unknown, but we know there's a problem. And we know the car is at 80% of potential. That is lower than I would have hoped for, actually. Considering we ended last season with a car that was at 96 or 98% of its potential, to go back down to 80, I didn't think we'd drop that far. And I would have, if you'd asked me, I would have said 84, 86% coming into the season, so that's another reason for me to be concerned coming to Australia. Let us... oh god, we're going to Australia with a very, very heat-intolerant engine. Could be a bit of a DNF for us. I'm going to address that heat problem straight away, because we just can't allow that. That's not okay. I'm going to put points initially into... God, the wet tyre is pretty horrible. I'm going to go for the soft tyre, because we can almost finish the work on that straight away. And on the fuel front, we've got a single point to spend. I'm going to put that into engine tolerance. Okay, so we've got our new specifications already ordered. I'm going to wait a turn before I start construction of the supercomputer. Oh, actually no, it's only 31,000 a turn. Part of me was thinking of investing in the wind tunnel. Guess why I'm not? That's why. Now, I could build a crappier wind tunnel, but why would I? And the wind tunnel has to be the next thing that we buy, because, again, if you think of this as sort of like a multiplier, we are hiring a crappy below level 1 wind tunnel each year for developing our car. If we have a 5-star wind tunnel, all our design, whether it's chassis development for this season, designing a new car for next year, anything that touches the wind tunnel is going to be much, much better developed. And we won't find ourselves dropping down to 80% of car potential at the start of a season. I'm going to order the supercomputer, and we are going to at some point drop 6 million on upgrading the factory if we can. Again, we don't really know how our budget's going to stretch out this year, so I'm going to do the usual spare parts dance, and then we will talk contracts. Now, I will be extending offers as we agreed to Pedro and Giancarlo. I don't think anyone's got any objection, or even cares actually, who our test driver is. Do bear in mind that it is possible for drivers to get injured in crashes, and if so, this guy at the moment would step into whoever's out. I'm astonished at how evenly matched Deniz and Fisichella are. I mean, Deniz has always been capable in this game, I've found. It's very rare I've had a season where he's utterly rubbish, but for him and Fisichella to be basically evenly matched is incredible. Okay, Fisichella's going to start getting expensive. He's going to be more than double the price of Alexander Wurz, who is a better driver on paper. So what I might do is, first of all, let's see if we can keep Deniz. I think everybody loves Deniz. He is the team. He is the team, and I'm not going to drop him. Is he driver 2 this year? No. I was going to say, I'm not making him driver 2. He's equal number 1. He's our Romain Grosjean. You know how like Romain Grosjean just was Renault while he was there? He was just so integrated in that team and so central to its last few seasons as Lotus. He's our Romain Grosjean, but he's less French, so he wins. I'm going to give him a bigger bonus, and we'll offer a 2-season deal. I think he might ask for more, but let's see. Yeah, he does want a longer contract. Hopefully he doesn't sign with someone else in the meantime, because people are going to be interested in him now. He's a talented driver that's developed very, very well, and he brings the best part of 10 million to the team. Fisico, I'm going to extend an offer to 4.1 million, 114,000 race bonus, and a 1.5 million championship bonus. 2 seasons is equal number 1. His wages are not high enough, and the championship bonus is not high enough, so he's suddenly becoming a much more expensive proposition, and he's negotiating with us when it's the wrong time to be needling the team for extra cash. The issue we have is that we're talking, he's going to want the best part of $1 million more each year for the next 2 years. And our budget is very likely to contract at the moment. Let's see if Alexander Wurz is more becoming. Let's offer him a much worse deal. I'm not offering him a 5-season deal. We'll extend an offer for 2 seasons for 2 million. And once my mouse begins moving again. Okay, he wants a bit more money. He wants a longer contract, and he wants a bigger championship bonus. That could work for us, and I'm gonna see what you guys say in the comments. I don't think we'll sign anyone this episode except Deniz, because everybody loves Deniz. On the test driver front, I think we'll keep Carl. I don't see why we wouldn't. Yeah. Okay, we don't need to replace our commercial head. He's with us till 2004, taking a nice 5% cut for himself. I'm pleased that we find ourselves at this point in the game with a commission rate of 5% or lower. That was really important to our success. The scary thing now is hiring our heads of department without knowing what our budget is. Now obviously what we'd like to do is bring Rory Byrne back to the team. But that's 5.6 million that we don't know if we have. Someone's been fired. That's interesting. I think we'll keep, or we'll try to keep, Loic Biguar. Yeah, Mike Gascoigne's still tied up. Neil Oatley's tied up 2005. So we're going to offer him a 2-season deal. $500,000 championship bonus, 52,680 race bonus, and we'll give him a 100, I don't know, brain stuff, but we'll give him 1.2 million. Let's call it that. We'll just say we're giving him 1.2 million. I don't know how much more it is. I can't be asked to count. Let's see if he takes that deal. Yes, he does. That's a very good deal for us. So normally I democratize this, but I'm going to sign him because I'm not paying an extra I'm not paying an extra 5 million. Sorry, to hire Rory Byrne for 1 extra star. It's not worth it. Over in construction, we have Gary Anderson tied up to the team until 2004, chained to the metaphorical radiator. You're not getting out, Gary. And Nigel Stepney is in his final season with us, and he still loves Pedro Diniz. And because we love Pedro Diniz, that's a reason for us to sign him again. That synergy is very, very good for us. It means he's cheaper to sign than he would otherwise be, and it means that his morale stays up, and so does Deniz's, and that is good for everybody involved. I'm going to give him a pay boost, given that we won the championship. I'm going to offer him a 2-season deal. He might turn it down. Actually, he accepts it. That's good news. If he wants a bigger championship bonus, that's fine, because we get more money from the FIA for winning a championship, so these bonuses are largely covered, actually. As long as you don't make a ridiculous offer, chances are that if you ever have to pay it out, you should have enough money coming in to cover it quite comfortably. Okay, I'm going to stop the video for a moment to save the game and have a swig of my energy drink, and then you and we are heading to Melbourne, kiddo. See you in a minute. Okay, so I off-cameraed the repair of the cars. We are keeping driver orders as they were. We're going to have to tell the guys to ease off. I'm expecting, and I don't mean to sound pessimistic here, but I'm expecting a double DNF. Because that Mercedes unit won't be able to handle the heat that is Australia and the heat that is Pedro Diniz's right foot. I just think we're going to we're going to run too much power through the engine, and that and the ambient temperature are going to cause failures aplenty. I hope I'm proven wrong. I do. But just to be safe, I'm going to put 2 points into cooling and 1 into each of the performance attributes. Start of a new season, so I'm going to have both drivers running the soft compound tyre. There's no reason now why, on paper at least, why Deniz needs the advantage of saving a pit stop to make up for a difference in race pace. These guys are so evenly matched on most skills now that it really isn't necessary. We will move to split strategy at some point, mainly because we need to figure out how the car works on the hard compound, and some tracks we have seen that saving that pit stop or just being on the hard tyre is inherently faster, and by splitting our strategy that way, we tend to always find ourselves somewhere near the serious end of the point scale, and we need to hoover up as many as we can. Okay, let's find out how backwards we've gone. It's good to see us at the top of that pile there. 30 degrees, which doesn't help us, and very dry. We know our cars don't like high temperatures for the most part. We know our engine doesn't like high temperatures at all, and we know that we are not a qualification team, so I'm not expecting fireworks, but if I hear any music when I press this button, then I will be extremely happy. Oh my god! I genuinely didn't expect that to happen. Mika Hakkinen puts it on pole for McLaren, kind of as we expected, to be honest. McLaren look to be our closest rival this year on paper. A 1:30.490, but encouragingly, Giancarlo Fisichella puts it second, and he's fraction of a fraction off the back of his McLaren. Pedro Diniz puts it third. He's just shy of a full 10th off the back of Fisichella, so maybe not totally amazing for him, but then again, it's the race that counts. Celso Moreira has an excellent debut for Ferrari, putting his car 4th. Johnny Newhouse's McLaren sits 5th. Michael Schumacher's Ferrari takes 6th, and Toru Takagi puts his Jordan in 7th. Williams are slightly behind where they were previously, sitting 8th and 9th with Herbert and Irvine respectively, and Emmanuel Collard puts his Stewart 10th. 11th is Alexander Wurtz's Jordan. The Prosts line up 12th and 13th. Nakano leading Marini home. Rossett sits 4th for Stewart. The Minardis sit 15th and 16th, and it looks like Benetton are having a Williams year, or at least a Williams opening to the year. Coulthard can only manage 17th, a full 2 seconds off the back of the Minardis. He does outqualify Damon Hill, who's a 10th down on him. John Olace's Salvo is 19th, Trulli's Benetton 20th, and Juan Pablo Montoya's Sauber 21st. Sorry, I was just reading the time differential there. We have 5 cars that are 2 seconds down on the slowest Minardi. I mean, that is insane. Sauber, I would say, are going to be the team that suffers most of this year. They look like they're in for a lot of pain. But Benetton, that's a hell of a fall from grace. Encouragingly, Prost seem to have taken a massive step forward. They've gone from dead last to being exactly in the middle of the field. Williams have started much better than they started last year, although we did see Williams hoovering up the lower end of the points pretty consistently. Jordan seemed to be about where they ended the season last year, and Ferrari have taken a big stride forward from their usual position, somewhere between 10th and 15th, to now be sitting 4th and 6th in qualifying. Yeah, interesting. It seems that we are the most consistent of the teams out there at the moment. There is some gaps between teammates that are quite significant. I think only Prost and Williams have drivers lining up next to each other. I'm encouraged by qualifying. I am encouraged by qualifying. Temperature drop for race day, which always pleases me. going to reduce the fuel. Make sure that we have those fresh tyres at every stage. There is sometimes a benefit to starting on scrub tyres, but I just prefer to have the extra tyre life in there, because I'm not there to manually call a driver in when they're struggling. So if I'm trusting the AI to simulate the race, I want it to simulate our cars with totally clean and unused tyres for each stint. Right, let's smash it. Well, we've got a win, but I'm sure we've got a DNF. Yes, we do. Giancarlo Fisichella takes the win. It's quite a dominant win, actually. 132.19, ahead of Johnny Newhouse's McLaren on a 132.34. Mika Hakkinen falls behind his teammate to finish third, 132.38. Michael Schumacher takes fourth for Ferrari. Toru Takagi and Alexander Wurz in the Jordans take the final points-paying position, but Shinji Nakano was only 2.4 seconds outside the points there for Prost. That's encouraging for them. David Coulthard and Jarno Trulli made progress, it looks like, but actually it's just attrition. Pedro Diniz had an accident. That's a bad start to his season. Manuel Collard and Jean Lacey both had electronic failures, while engine failures plagued Celso Moreira's Ferrari, Alessandro Marini's Prost, and Eddie Irvine's Williams. Interesting to see two Ferrari units failing there when I expected the Mercedes units to be the ones that gave up the ghost. It's an encouraging start. I would have liked a double points finish, but you know, that just puts us on even footing with McLaren going into round 2. We're both on 10 points there. Right, let's take a look at what deals are on the table for us. So there is a 2-season Works Ford deal available, a 1-season Ferrari deal. Mercedes are offering extra $500,000 a season there, 12 million a year for 1 year. That's pretty good. And we have a 1-season 10.4 million deal from Peugeot. For me, the decision now is between Mercedes and Ford. The problem with Ford is that we only get 8.4 million. However, the deal is really easy to get, and it's a 2-season deal. Over on tyre front, only a 1-season deal in the works for Goodyear. That bothers me, I'll be honest. I'm going to take 5% off and put them talking to Bridgestone. We really do need a multi-year deal in some places. Playlife are offering a 2-season deal, 26.5 million, and that's a step up from the 18 million that Red Bull give us at the moment. So I'm going to drop our success card on that bad boy straight away. We want that 2-season deal. It's very, very important to our future plans that we have that. Right, we haven't seen yet the effect of the improved hospitality, simply because none of these deals would have any progress at this point. I'm saving my TV advantage until we have decided democratically which engine supplier to chase, but I do know we're no longer going to be talking to Ferrari or Peugeot. It really is difficult for me to make a decision here. Actually, I don't know. I don't know what to do. The increase in team budget would negate most of the difference between Ford and Mercedes-Benz. The reason I say it doesn't fully cover it is because there's a whole bunch of other expenses we've got to consider. It also very much depends on how our cash sponsor negotiations go. We need to supplement our income as much as humanly possible, and 12 million is a lot of money to turn down. But look at the length of that negotiation, and it's only a 1-season deal. It's only a 1-season deal. I'm going to put more people talking to Ford for now, and I'll listen for what you guys want to do. I'll stop bringing Mercedes to the party though and start inviting Ford. How much money are Goodyear offering for a works deal? Just 1 million. See, if Bridgestone offer a multi-year deal, then we're going to have to switch tyre suppliers, would be my honest assessment there. On merchandising front, nothing has happened. Of course it hasn't. Right, let's check the news. Giancarlo Fisichella has another win. Pole position went to Mika Hakkinen, and both McLarens finished on the podium at the end. Both Jordans broke the top 6, and Giancarlo Fisichella picked up the fastest lap. Mika Salo has signed for Sauber, and Alexander Wurz has signed for Ferrari. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Okay, I guess that means Fisico lives to vampire our wallet once again. Right, we're going to negotiate with Diniz again, offer him a 3-season deal. We can break it at any time if we need to, although it really isn't good form. Yay. Right, we have retained Diniz. So actually, I keep forgetting that we have basically 10 million coming in from Pedro Diniz, so yeah, that Ford deal is starting to look even more attractive at this point. Oh no, Alexander Wurz hasn't signed with Ferrari, but he's on the verge of it, apparently. I'm going to improve our offer. He still wants a longer deal. I mean, that's good for us, right? If we lock him in for 4 or 5 seasons at 2.2 million, that's a hell of a bargain. But at the same time, I don't like firing a current world champion. Right. I will not go. Well, I shouldn't talk like that. It's supposed to be a democratic playthrough. As an advisor to the team and the guy pushing the buttons, the button monkey, I would advise that we don't go above 4.5 million. The next level up from that would be 4.7-ish, and that means he's got a 1 million a year pay increase. Plus, he's asking for more than 500,000 extra in championship bonus. Yeah, he's still not willing to sign at that price. You guys, if you want to keep Fisichella, then you just let me know in the comment section below, and I will make an improved offer. But I mean, to be honest, we can get Wurz for less than half that price if he doesn't sign with Ferrari this round. There's a good chance that he will, unfortunately. Trulli is an option, but he's not as attractive. I don't mean sexually, I mean as a driver. Let's keep it professional. The other option, of course, is we could always pick up Dario Loretti, bring 13.4 million into the team and develop him. It would mean that next year we're at even greater disadvantage with only one seriously competitive driver, but the budget would be increased for the length of his stay, so it does take the financial pressure off a little bit. Right, we have other deals to deal. Nigel Stepney wanted a bigger championship bonus, and we wanted to oblige him. There we go. That pleases me. The fact that we've kept Stepney and Diniz, that's almost made me feel better about the fact that we're going to lose Alexander Wurz to Ferrari. Maybe Ferrari run into the roadblock that we do, actually, and that Wurz just wants a crazy long deal. I mean, if we offered him a 5-season deal, which I think is what he's asking for, he's going to be with the team until the end of the game. Which means if we need to change him at any point, it involves us firing him. Let's repair Deniz's car, and let's hit the test track. So, same as last time. I'm actually going to try reducing the setup testing, because I really need us to have more points for engine and tyres right now. I'm going to drop Forschung testing as well, because we only need 1 point from this turn. I'm going to put that in fuel, I think. Okay, we're going to run the maximum number of mileage again. I'm also going to chuck some extra engineers at some of our problems. Right, let's smash it. Okay, that makes me much happier. Let's begin work on the B spec immediately. So everyone working on this driver aid and getting nowhere, you are going to now be the development team for our B spec. We are developing a fast corner solution for the rear wing. I'm going to build that technology upgrade, that's very important. And next we will upgrade the reliability of our electronic system. And the 2004 car is excuse me, already coming across quite nicely actually. 3 points in 1 turn, that's pretty good, because you start out with a very low efficiency because it's all unknown, and as the car begins to take shape, the efficiency goes up and your progress actually increases. That's why it's good to start early, actually, specifically as a small team. It's very, very good to start early because it means that you get your efficiency up as early as possible, and if the car happens to not meet the regulations, then you're not really starting from zero. Again, you just delete the design and you're taking efficiency drop because, again, it's a brand new design, but it's not as a immediate and steep drop as simply having never done the work. Right, let's put this new technology on the car and knock out some spare parts, and then we will begin spending our test points. Oh man, we need to get many more points out of engine testing. Right, I'm going to make an improvement to the wet weather compound, addressing temperature issues first of all. On the fuel front, we have 2 points to spend now, which I'm pleased about. A boost to power and another boost to engine tolerance. Ideally, it might be a good idea to just knock out of the park the race fuel development and then go from there. Okay, on the engine front we have a mere 2 points to spend. Not happy about that at all. I'm going to put it in fuel economy and heat tolerance. The engine is now looking, well, much better than it did. I know it's only 3 points here or there, but that brings us up to the middle of the scale at least, and if we shift focus now to engine testing, we can get a hyper competitive engine, I think, within sort of 4 to 5 rounds. And I think that's probably the way we're going to have to go. The wet weather tyre is not as horrible as it once was. The intermediate that we got this year was actually quite good. Our softs I'm perfectly happy with, and the hard compound tyre I guess will be the next target for development. Moving on, I didn't actually pay attention if the team lost or profited from the last Grand Prix. I believe we posted a profit and then spent it all on testing. We are going to run into some budgetary problems early in the season, I fear, and that means I might have to sell some more of the team and juggle things around, but the fact that we've come out of the gate fighting when I didn't think that we would means that it becomes it makes a stronger business case now to actually continue spending this money. If the car was really uncompetitive, I mean, we were outside the points, I'd be reluctant to spend too much trying to push forward this season, except that this was going to be our season pain, and focus really early on conserving cash and working towards having a stronger season next season. Fisichella, that cheeky smile, I don't care for it at the moment. You are messing me around in these pay negotiations. Why can't you be more like Pedro Diniz? Right, spare parts are done, the car is repaired, I'm going to save the game. The sponsors are all in place. Alexander Vort has his pen poised to sign for Ferrari. Oh, I'll tell you what we didn't do. We didn't spend the Forschung points. There we go, that gives us an immediate boost here, and here, and here, and here. So we got our money's worth for that. Okay, let's see what we can do here. The car is set up for hot weather, so I'm going It's also set up for rain. That's interesting. That's sort of an intermediate tyre setup that we've gone for there. I'm going to put points in the performance attributes first of all. And then the situational attributes. That's a good question. I am going to say... Oh god, I don't know. I actually don't know. Brazil's always been a hard one for me, actually, to set up for. Because the car's already set up for bumpy surfaces, which will be my first concern. It's set up for high temperature, which we know. My instinct is to set up more for the dry, hoping that we get a cooling benefit from that, but I've got a feeling it might just rain, and then we've compromised our performance. I'm gonna put more points in the performance attributes. Sod it. That extra power might just cause our engines to fail, but at least at that point we're beginning to learn about the car. We've got a new spec of Mercedes engine that's actually a little bit better in the heat, so that's good news. And we have a new specification soft compound tyre. So both drivers getting the full benefit there. Looking good. .29 degrees and dry, so another spicy tamale. Oh, we've got a pole! Giancarlo Fisichella puts it on pole, 1:17.254, a tenth and change ahead of Michael Schumacher's Ferrari in second. Pedro Diniz puts it third on a 1:17.386. Mika Hakkinen, Johnny Newhouse take fourth and fifth for McLaren. 2/10 almost down on Diniz, which is encouraging, and Sosa Moreira takes sixth. Eddie Irvine's Williams and Johnny Herbert's Williams are split by Alexander Wurtz's Jordan, and Marini's Prost takes the final top 10 position. That's again a very encouraging qualifying session for us. 27 degrees and light rain. That is Pedro Diniz territory if ever there was one. So yeah, we're going to reduce fuel load on both cars. I'm not going to try one-stopping Diniz, because if the rain stops he'll put the soft compound tyre on and then bin it into a wall, and then we're spending more money and parts and time and engineering onto repairing his car. So let's hope for no DNFs, please. We've got a DNF. Yeah, we have. Giancarlo Fisichella takes another win, 1:45.14.456, ahead of Mika Hakkinen's McLaren in second. Michael Schumacher puts his Ferrari third, finishing off the podium. Eddie Irvine takes his Williams to a strong fourth. Shinji Nakano has a great drive, finishing 2 laps down in fifth, but still it's fifth. And Mika Salo picking up a surprise point for Minardi. Good work, boys, good work. Suspension failure took out Jean Alesi's Sauber. Jan Magnussen's Minardi had an unknown failure. Alexander Wurtz's Jordan had a hydraulic problem. Another accident for Pedro Diniz. Johnny Newhouse's McLaren developed a fault that hasn't been identified. Another failure for the Ferrari unit in the Prost there. The Mechachrome unit of Ricardo Rosset also failed, and a hydraulic failure for Damon Hill's Tyrrell. Driver mistake from Toru Takagi took his Jordan out of the picture, and Esteban Tuero's Tyrrell had a fuel issue. So both Tyrrells and both Jordans failing to finish there. Giancarlo Fisichella leads the Drivers' Championship. Pedro Diniz has 0 points on the board, which I'm very unhappy about. And Arrows still sit at top of the pile, but we're only 4 points clear because we only have one driver picking up points. This is why we need Diniz to be back to his consistent self as soon as possible. I'm disappointed in him that we've had 2 accidents now in a row. So win and pole position for Giancarlo Fisichella. Ferrari have signed Alexander Wurtz, which is bad news for us. Fastest lap went to Giancarlo Fisichella. Toru Takagi has bought himself a seat at Minardi. And that's about the best of the news. So our driver options are now much thinner on the ground. We have Giancarlo Fisichella, who's making demands. Jarno Trulli is much cheaper, but also much worse. Michael Schumacher is much better, but he costs 27.2 million that we just don't have. And Ricardo Zonta is not really an option either. Jan Magnussen, cheap, but again, you get what you pay for. Shinji Nakano is now available once more. We could get the band back together. His stats suffer at the top end of the scale, but he's still fairly solid lower down, and he's paying 4 million now. I don't know who else is available. Let's see. John Fellows, Juan Pablo Montoya, Ricardo Rosset, Luca Badoa, Esteban Tuero, and Damon Hill. The only one who's even slightly interesting there is Hill, but he costs 13 million. I mean, it seems that Fisichella suddenly becomes an attractive proposition again simply by being the least worst option. I'm going to tender an offer to him. We're going to just bump it up to 5 million and a 1.8 million championship bonus. See if he accepts it. I won't sign the deal, but I can sign it at the beginning of the next episode if you guys give the go-ahead. He has agreed. He has agreed. So I'm going to step back from that and wait and see what you guys think. We're going to continue expanding the team. We have made a profit there, not a huge one, but it is one, and that's what matters. I'll strengthen the departments in the next episode, actually. Let's just take a quick look at how we're doing in the design office. Okay, we're already ready for the CFD simulation phase on the B-Spec. That's very pleasing to me. We still don't know if our car is legal, but we're almost done with the initial development stage. Over in Sponsor Town, Bridgestone are only offering a 1-season deal and an extra 50,000, so I think it's better to keep some consistency there. On the engine front, progress is actually really strong, and yeah, we are making good progress, good solid progress with Playlife. I'm going to actually drop the TV advantage here, I think, to try and close that deal off early, stop anyone poaching it from us. And because I don't think if we go with Ford, we just don't need to drop it. There's just no need. If we're staying with Mercedes-Benz, then yeah, we need the help. So let me know what you guys think. I won't actually spend that advantage now until we have a decision, but that's my initial prognosis. Hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. Stay out of trouble, but do have fun. And most importantly, I will talk to you tomorrow. You have a good one.